Good day! Welcome learners! For today's topic, I am going to discuss to you the GDP or the Gross Domestic Product, and I am hoping that you are all doing well and comfortable to listen. Once again, this is Cheryl Mignon from BSED Social Studies 2A. GDP is significant because it provides information on the size and performance of an economy. The pace of increase in real GDP is frequently used as a gauge of the economy's overall health. An increase in real GDP is viewed as a sign that economy is performing well in general. GDP and associated statistics are used by policymakers, government officials, corporations, economists, and the general public to analyze the economy's health and make educated decisions. The most generally used measure of an economy's size is gross domestic product or the GDP. GDP can be calculated for a single country, a region such as Tuscany in Italy or Burgundy in France, or a collection of countries such as the European Union or the EU. The gross domestic product or the GDP is the sum of all value added in a given economy. The value added is the difference between the value of the goods and the services produced and the value of the goods and services required to produce them, also known as intermediate consumption.
GDP using the value-added approach. So the value-added approach is primarily used to calculate GDP and avoids double counting. When the value of finished items is added to the value of intermediate goods, this is known as doubling counting. The value of each component, such as the capacitor or the motherboard, should no longer be included in the computation because the computation is already a finished good. The added value in each stage of computer production is calculated using this method. So this is the formula of the expenditure approach to GDP because Y represents both GDP and national income in this equation. Y represents both GDP and national income. This is because when money changes hands, it represents expenditure for one party and revenue for the other. And Y represents the net of the entire economy by capturing all of these values. Let's take a quick look at each GDP's components. So this is how calculating the GDP deflator. The dividing nominal GDP by real GDP and multiplying by 100. The GDP deflator is calculated. GDP deflator equation, so this is the GDP deflator, is a metric that gauges the rate of price inflation in a given economy. It's calculated by multiplying nominal GDP by real GDP and then dividing by 100.
And that's all my discussion. I hope you learned something. Thank you and goodbye.